In the misty dawn of the Carolina wilderness, a lone figure moves like a whisper through the trees. Slender, fiery, and silent, this is the red wolf, one of the rarest predators on Earth. Once, its haunting call echoed across the American South, from the dense pine forests of Texas to the swamps of Florida, from the rolling fields of Kentucky to the Carolina coast. It was the guardian of the southern wild. Swift, clever, and fiercely loyal. But time has not been kind to the red wolf. By the 1980s, relentless hunting, deforestation, and hybridization pushed it to the edge of extinction. At one point, fewer than 20 red wolves remained on the planet, ghosts wandering the edges of forgotten lands. Yet nature has a way of reclaiming what is lost. Through determination and science, conservationists gathered the last survivors, breeding them in captivity. And so, from the ashes of near extinction, a new hope was born. A handful of wolves were reintroduced into the wild, here in North Carolina's Alligator River National Wildlife Refuge. Camera follows a female wolf trotting gracefully through the tall grass. Her coat shimmers in hues of rust and gold. The red wolf is smaller and leaner than its northern cousin, the gray wolf, about 60 pounds of muscle and instinct. Its eyes burn like amber fire, its gait elegant yet wary. Every step it takes is a dance between survival and disappearance. In the quiet of dawn, she listens, ears twitching to the faint rustle of prey. A marsh rabbit stirs in the reeds, unaware of the hunter's approach. The wolf moves, silent, precise, eternal. For a fleeting moment, America's forgotten wilderness breathes again. The red wolf, the ghost of the South, has returned. Far to the north, beyond the swamps and rivers of the South, another wolf walks the land, larger, stronger, and born of the mountains. This is the gray wolf, the monarch of the North, the ancient symbol of untamed America. Its story begins in the ice and silence of time. Long before roads, fences, or farms, gray wolves ruled nearly every corner of the continent, from Alaska's tundra to the forests of New England, from the Rockies to the Great Lakes. They hunted in packs, governed by loyalty and discipline, a family bound by instinct, not blood alone. The camera follows a pack moving through a snowstorm, heads low, eyes sharp, paws silent against the ice. In the heart of a wolf pack, there is no chaos, only order. Each member knows its place, its duty, its rhythm. The alpha leads with wisdom, not cruelty. The beta guards, the hunters chase, and the young learn. Every howl a message, every movement a language of survival. In the cold light of dawn, the pack sets out, their breath rising like smoke. They travel for miles across frozen rivers and pine forests, following the scent of elk. When the moment comes, they move as one. Silent, swift, unstoppable. It is not savagery that drives them, but balance. For every hunt, there is purpose. For every kill, respect. The gray wolf is nature's architect of harmony. Where wolves thrive, the land heals. Deer and elk no longer overgraze the valleys. Grass grows tall, rivers strengthen their flow, and birds return to the trees. This is the wolf effect, the pulse of balance that keeps the wilderness alive. The scene shifts to Yellowstone National Park. In 1995, after 70 years of absence, the gray wolf was reintroduced into Yellowstone. The results were nothing short of miraculous. Within a decade, the park transformed, its ecosystems revived, its rivers reshaped, and its silence broken once more by the haunting echo of the pack. The camera pans across a gray wolf standing on a ridge at sunset, its silhouette framed by golden light. To some, the gray wolf is a symbol of freedom and wilderness. To others, a threat, a rival for livestock and land, but to the wilderness itself, it is a heartbeat, steady, ancient, and necessary. As the sun sinks behind the peaks, the alpha raises his head and howls. The sound travels miles across snow and sky, a call not of conquest, but of belonging. In the wild heart of the American South, two legacies collide. One forged in fire, the red wolf. One born of ice, the gray. Their stories, once separate, now intertwine in a struggle for survival, space, and identity. Camera sweeps over the coastal plains of North Carolina. Pine forests stretch toward the sea. Here, where the Atlantic wind whispers through the trees, a fragile experiment unfolds. For decades, scientists have worked to bring the red wolf back to its ancestral home. But nature, as always, writes its own laws. As gray wolves expanded south and coyotes spread east, a storm of genetics began to brew. Red wolves, smaller, rarer, desperate to survive, found themselves surrounded by stronger cousins and cunning competitors. The line between species began to blur. Footage of a red wolf and a coyote crossing paths under moonlight. At first, it was competition, for food, for territory, for mates. But soon it became something deeper, interbreeding, hybridization. In the genetic code of every red wolf today, traces of coyote and gray wolf blood can be found. Purity, in the wild, is a fragile illusion. To some scientists, this blending of bloodlines is a tragedy, the fading of a unique species. To others, it is evolution in motion, nature's way of adapting to a world humans have changed. The scene cuts to a scientist holding a tracking collar. "Dr. Harper, we wanted to save the red wolf as it once was, but nature doesn't freeze in time. Maybe what we're seeing isn't extinction, it's transformation." Cut to a red wolf moving through pine shadows, its fur glowing auburn in the sun. Still, the red wolf fights on, elusive, cautious, and ghost-like. Every step it takes in the Carolinas is a rebellion against extinction. Every howl, a defiance against silence. But danger is never far. Farmers fear for their livestock. Hunters guard their deer, and old myths still linger, stories of wolves as monsters told around firelight. The clash between human fear and animal instinct has lasted centuries. In that struggle, the red wolf stands at the edge of vanishing, while the gray wolf, resilient and vast, rises again across the American West. Scene: a gray wolf pack howls in Yellowstone, while a lone red wolf watches the sunrise in North Carolina. Two wolves, two Americas, one past, one future, bound by ancestry, divided by fate. Perhaps the greatest battle between the red and the gray is not of teeth and claws, but of time, of genes, and of our willingness to let wildness live. The night has ended, yet for the red wolf, the struggle continues. Fewer than 20 roam free in the wild today. Each paw print, each breath, is a reminder of how fragile survival can be. But where there is fragility, there is also faith. Faith in wildness, in balance, in the will to endure. Camera glides across a female red wolf leading her pups through tall grass. In the refuge lands of eastern North Carolina, a handful of wolves still raise their young beneath the whispering pines. Biologists watch from afar, protecting, tracking, and hoping. Every birth is a miracle, a spark in the long night of extinction. People say saving a species is impossible once it's almost gone, but I've seen what resilience looks like. It has fur, golden eyes, and a heartbeat strong enough to echo through time. Scene shifts to a wide view of Yellowstone, gray wolves chasing elk across open plains. Hundreds of miles away, the gray wolf thrives once more. From Montana to Wyoming, its howl once again rolls across valleys that had fallen silent for decades. It stands as a symbol of what happens when humans choose to protect rather than destroy. Together, these two wolves, the red and the gray, form a mirror of America itself. Diverse, resilient, and divided, yet bound by shared origin. Their stories remind us that nature's fight is not about dominance, it's about coexistence. Music deepens, footage alternates between both wolves, red fur in sunlight, gray fur under moonlight.
If you listen closely, the wilderness still speaks. It speaks in the rustle of reeds, in the cry of an owl, in the echo of a distant howl. And when that sound fades, what will take its place? The answer lies not in the forest, but in us, in our choices, in whether we see the wild as an enemy or as a reflection of ourselves. Camera focuses on a young boy standing beside his father, watching a red wolf through binoculars. Perhaps hope begins here, not in politics or science, but in wonder. When a child hears that haunting cry and feels something stir within, the future of the wolf and the wilderness is written anew. The final scene, dusk falls, a lone red wolf climbs a sand ridge. The gray wolf's distant howl answers. The two voices join, carried by the wind across forests and plains. The red wolf, the gray wolf, two halves of a forgotten song. And as long as one voice remains, the music of the wild will never truly end. Fade to black, the sound of a heartbeat, then silence.